Do you have a narcissist in your life? Everything you do to understand them is most likely counterproductive. The bottom line is they operate on a different set of rules, rules that you must play by. They are very simple rules, but they are not negotiable. Give me 10 minutes and I will walk you through the rules in a simple model of understanding how to interact with your neighborhood narcissist. The narcissist. We have all encountered them, and we get frustrated by them as they defy explanation or logic. We have spent countless hours trying to understand how they are thinking and what their behaviors are and making sense of it in context of ourselves. And that is the problem. We need to step out of our own moccasins for a few minutes and delve into the world of a narcissist. What makes a narcissist tick? Early in life, they learned that they can't be loved, and the only one that they can trust is themselves. From these two conclusions, they develop a confabulated version of themselves that is the opposite of themselves so that they can be loved and is sustained by a continuous stream of attention. This becomes their sole source of identity. Daily life is focused on only two things: getting attention and not being abandoned. That's it. No more, no less. Everything else you may be thinking of just doesn't matter at all. The currency of life is a supply of attention. And this supply comes in two forms: primary supply and secondary supply. Primary supply is the attention that you get each day from anybody, just the little nuggets that you pick up. It's perishable. You get a daily dose. It's casual and random. Attention from the public, from friends, from family, from somebody walking on the street. It really doesn't matter, just to get some type of attention. Negative or positive, perception is everything. Secondary supply is that is attained from a life partner. But this is only as good as yesterday's supply. Companionship, admiration, attention, approval are all important. Qualities that they seek in a good companion for secondary supply. One that has conspicuous wealth, is creative, has a business, owns property, has status symbols, and has a sense of anarchic freedom. They despise the submissive. They fear the independent. We can model the behavior of a narcissist with just 5 diagrams. The first one is daily life. Daily life is all about getting their daily dose of attention, both primary and secondary supply. Remember, this is what keeps their false self inflated. They must scrounge for primary supply each and every day from whomever and wherever they can find it. Positive or negative, it does not matter. It's all the same. All sources are interchangeable. But like a class clown, yesterday or tomorrow doesn't count. Every day is a new day for seeking attention. Secondary supply is less onerous on a daily basis since they get their daily dose from their life partner. Attention comes in the form of admiration and what they would call taking care of business. The act of paying bills, maintaining a house, everyday occurrences. What plagues them on a daily basis is intimacy. On one hand, they know that intimacy is required to sustain their source of secondary supply. On the other hand, intimacy reduces the narcissist to being a common person, which deflates their false sense of identity. They strive for uniqueness at the expense of intimacy. This balancing act of intimacy plays out in response to the needs of their partner. However, instead of moderation, the narcissist goes from one extreme to the other, like trying to regulate water temperature by going from hot to cold back to hot again. Second diagram is the energy cycle. The narcissist goes through a long-term energy cycle driven by sources of secondary supply. When they have a good secondary supply source, their energy is high as they consume it, even though they know that eventually the source will dry up. One day they find themselves with no source and for no apparent reason. It catches them off guard despite their increasing struggle to balance intimacy. They now go into a low energy state of acquiring a new source of secondary supply. Once that source has been acquired, the cycle repeats itself. This energy cycle is virtually identical to the bipolar energy cycle of mania and depression, except that this has nothing to do with mood. It is strictly about consuming and acquiring supply. third diagram is acquiring a new source of secondary supply. Ideally, the narcissist already has someone in mind, but usually they end up starting from scratch by putting out feelers, and then they go into a hibernation mode while they wait and watch. When they detect a signal of interest from someone, they go into seduction mode. They turn on all of their charm to wine and dine these prospects, dispensing copious amounts of sex to the most promising candidate. The evaluation criteria are simple. Are they gullible? Are they inferior? Are they available now? And most importantly, will they not be imposing? If yes, then we're good to go, and they return to the high energy state of daily life. If not, then they go back into hibernation mode to wait and watch for another signal. Sometimes when the prospects are bleak, they may be forced to pursue an old source of secondary supply. This is strictly a temporary measure since they don't like the idea of recycling someone who once abandoned them. The fourth diagram is recycling secondary supply. This cycle is similar to the previous cycle, however, it is streamlined. They already know that the old source of secondary supply is qualified. The only questions are, do they show remorse for abandoning them in the past, and are they currently available? There is no need to seduce them, since they did no wrong in their mind, and they remain a hot catch. The narcissist just needs to show a little interest in them by granting them the chance to get back together again. They will use sex on a very limited basis to tease them into a relationship if needed. Once they have them in the bag, the sex stops. The last diagram shows how the narcissist reacts to various scenarios of intimacy with their partner as source of secondary supply. In a previous diagram, we saw how the narcissist struggles with intimacy. By being more intimate with their partner, the narcissist sustains their source of secondary supply. However, this comes at the price of losing their own uniqueness. The bottom line is that all paths eventually lead to abandonment. So the narcissist needs to have absolute control over intimacy. To do this, they must keep control of the relationship itself. They keep an upper hand by either using information and/or aggression. By carefully choosing their words, they are able to sit on the fence, not committing to anything. They are free-flowing when sharing information about other people and themselves, except for the complete vacuum of relationships. They can spin relationships from being nothing at all to being endlessly romantic, but only for the purpose of leveraging the control of intimacy. This is strange because on the upper extreme, they lose their identity, and on the lower extreme, they deplete their secondary supply. And both lead to abandonment, their biggest fear. They are convinced, however, that these two extremes will average out and stave off abandonment. For the narcissist, sex is merely a physical act, but it also presents two extremes for them. Being adventuresome and having sex that they enjoy would be like W.C. Fields saying, "I would never belong to a club that would have me as a member." But not having sex leads to boredom. Both scenarios lead to abandonment. From time to time, these controls are not enough, and the relationship gets away from the narcissist. This can be a dangerous time. The narcissist morphs from an attention-seeking little kid to a nasty and abusive aggressor of their partner. They use anger in response to their partner expecting or demanding intimacy. They use blame in response to their partner trying to withhold their gestures of intimacy. In these cases, the narcissist intensifies intimacy by going from very hot to very cold, but never actually manifests either of these extremes. In other words, if he turns intimacy way up, then he expects you to be swept off your feet. Likewise, if he turns intimacy way down, he expects you to be devastated by that. But don't dare play either extreme literally as if his words were to mean something, or blow him off as if his words meant nothing. Both paths lead to abandonment, and these paths are prone to be very ugly.